El 14 de septiembre llega a los cines Predator, la nueva entrega en la que veremos a los yauyas queriendo arrasar con la Tierra. Hemos tenido ocasión de charlar con Shane Black, que ya actuó en la primera película de 1987 y ahora tiene el rol de director de esta nueva entrega.
Well, two very different jobs, acting in a film and directing, but the good news is when I was a part of the original Predator, I went down there sort of as an actor, but really that's not why I went. I really wanted to see, as a young guy for the first time, how a film comes together. I wanted to watch, I wanted to be on set from start to finish and see and observe how it's put together and what works and what doesn't, and look at the director. I watched McTiernan play with the camera. I watched how he worked, and I tried to be a sponge and absorb as much as I could, just so I would know and so I would, be conversant. I didn't realize at that time I'd be directing someday, but I still look back on those lessons that I was learning from people like Dick Donner, from people like Tony Scott, John McTiernan, James L. Brooks. I think it's important to have mentors, and those guys were mine. I think that there's always cuts that you make in a film for pace, and when you boil it down, I hope we have a chance to do a DVD version where we put back, there's just, sometimes it's too much, but these actors would go boom, boom, back and forth. It's so much stuff with the actors having fun and this camaraderie that they shared together. You can't keep all of it, but someday I'll throw it all down so people can have a chance to see what we had a choice of, the buffet that was offered to us by these wonderful actors. No, the R rating was something we demanded. We needed, I think, to be more, we had this approach that said, let's get back to the feeling of the first movie and the first two even. PG wasn't doing it for me in the same way. For instance, did you see the Wolverine movies? Yes. Okay, there's a PG version where Wolverine gets these blades, and you never really see what he's doing. He's just kind of, but I'm sorry, what's going on over? Is he killing someone? I can't tell. And they wouldn't show you. But then it was almost like a revelation when you see Logan. It was R-rated. And the first 2 minutes, you right through a guy's head, and you go, oh yes, you know what? There it is. I knew it. That's what they're doing. He's killing people. And at least there's an honesty to it that feels like a throwback to a time in the 80s when you were allowed to do that. And pop art, this kind of pulpy, raw quality that the original Predator had, was something I wanted to get back to. 20th Century Fox, I think, had discovered something prior to our film, which is that R-rated films, you could spend a bunch of money on them and not worry about the risk of it so much. Because look at Deadpool. Deadpool was really hard R, and yet it made a ton. And then Logan came along, like I said, and it just made a ton. And they said, you know what, maybe R ratings don't mean you have to be that careful about, your budget. So even though the Predator had a somewhat larger budget, they said, you know what, take your R rating. I wanted it, we said, let's do it, we have to. Let's make it like the 80s again. I like all the sequences where you have these poor misfits crammed together, trying to decide how to, get out of this situation and coming to open themselves up and become heroes. So I don't know. I can't really pick a favorite sequence. I do like the scene in the motel room where they're all just sort of trying to figure out what to do about this new acquisition, this girl on their team, and they're sort of just milling around, being themselves, and she's looking at them like Snow White with the Seven Dwarfs. Like, who the hell are these guys? And I thought that was fun to do.
Asimismo, hemos podido charlar con Boy Holbrook y Olivia Munn, que interpretan respectivamente al soldado King McKenna y a la doctora Casey Brackett.
my character is a evolutionary scientist. She's a doctor of biology, and she is at the top of her field. So she was brought in by the government to explain why this new predator is so much more advanced. She studies how creatures change and adapt. So she was brought in, and while she's there, the predator awakes and escapes. So she decides to run after him and fight, and that's where she meets up with Boyd and the rest of the guys.
Yeah, my character is sort of a contract soldier, probably been, disengaged. What is the word?
I know, it's like honorably dismissed.
So I'm basically like a contract gun for hire, doing
doing a lot of private contract work, whether it's like defending people or they do a lot of
truck stuff.
Yeah, so.
No.
Well, it's fun to shoot a movie where you don't have to worry.
It's a shame to do a movie that, your blood, guts, and gore, and you got to be like a PG rated.
In my personal opinion, as a fan of these kind of movies, when I watch a movie with an alien predator, I want it to be violent and bloody, and I want to see them rip each other apart. And you really can't do that in a PG-13 movie. So in our movie, not only as actors, we have more freedom, but we're not doing so much our stuff, but we know that in the editing bay and when they're doing the CG that they can really, go for it, and that makes it fun. I mean, just as an audience member, that's what I would want to see. It's more fun. Sneak into the R's, kids.
It was maybe a day, like
it was
half a day.
It was 2 days because we had to do your one side and turn around because we shoot. But that scene actually.
Turn around means like this camera here, then it goes over
the
there. We see you, we see this, we see over there.
That scene really evolved because the way that it was originally written, it was very different. It was this scene where it was like 3 pages of basically my character waking up and demanding a lot of stuff, and I have like 3 pages of dialogue, and I said to Shane,
I'm waking up with a bunch of weird dudes around me.
I was like, do you think that she'd really like? And I was.
Maybe I should check my drink.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, I understood he was trying to show like that she's strong, and I said, but what if we gave all of my lines to the guys and made them force them to make me comfortable? That tell me who they are, tell me what they found this bed, and I remember he was like, you want to give your lines away? And I was like, I mean,
what actor does that?
Yeah, like no, I'm like, but it doesn't make sense. And so I had thought about this scene and like what it would be like if she really woke up, and then the audience, they know that at this point that these guys are they look suspicious, but they're good guys, and so the whole audience is watching, going, oh, she's gonna wake up, but she doesn't know they're good guys, and this is gonna be fun. And if we have her so strong and not afraid at all, we kind of rob that feeling from the audience. So I wanted them to kind of watch her discover it, and then basically what you saw in the movie is what I had pitched to Shane, and fun
cool
alive
scene.
scene. I love the moment where because we talked about, because Shane was like, okay, well we still need you to pick up the gun. He's like, we wanted that moment.
Ding dong.
And so then we talked about like, okay, well let's talk realistically. These ex-military guys, even if they've been dishonorably discharged, that they're still military experts. They know they're soldiers. They would not just leave a gun where somebody could grab it. And then I said, well, so what if they did it as a little inside joke because they're that crazy, they're that weird. And then I said, what if they did all of these things, and then created that dialogue that you end up seeing, and then having this like little tug of war where he just kind of flicks me, which was annoying, by the way. Every time you did it, you hit it right on the nose, literally. But yeah, that scene was a lot more fun and took a lot less time to shoot because we were, Shane was so open to reworking it from the beginning.
No os perdáis esta cita en el cine para recuperar todo ese espíritu gamberro de las películas de los años 80.